Order for breaking news, guess your pan, I bet Tom up no so I'm speaking in a bro. I will Ghanatube for breaking news, Ben, I bet to drum, I'm speaking in a bro. Obeka Yankasa, just special prosecutor, Kisi Ejabeng. Order for the sea ameno Casano, wa resigning, wa quitting, and na said ding. Sisi and yesi, the moment Kisi Ejabeng, oye Ashenhain, Emma Kenufuriata, efi Ghana has a kwama no neno. Sa time na nka also coordinate adwuma to fom na or resigning as a special prosecutor or quitting the position no and as or resigning from the office no as a special prosecutor of way any breaking news beto dwa they say awo sem kese pan yesi enimenim ya no petition kese ye de kwakoma John Dramani Mahama say enimenim ya indeya onyi kisi Ejabeng enfi as our office of the special prosecutor only if you know as a special prosecutor na nejuma enso eni kakakakakakofo yesi demonstration kese pan petition kese pan ye de kwako twa John Dramani Mahama ye de kwako dwanwe na so ye de kwako twa na so anopa na ye de amano good morning ewia na ye de amano good afternoon enwumbre na ye de amano good evening just petitions no efiha na efa na baha na fiha na nam ha chese ye de kwakoye John Dramani Mahama ni office ono mma ni nyina ne se yesi Kisi Ejabeng enimenim ya no on for the position too because I didn't tell to me ya hwe hwe kenoforiata so to me figure na so fo yesi unqualified oni that credentials no onye credible onye nipa oye credible was ye di eni to ne so because sa na ode beye obi nso sisi ana waye kenoforiata na sa so na betumi e dey favor obi nso rofo nti ese ni menim ya no Kisi Ejabeng no unquit and also resign because wanye sa dia petition tintin de call John Dramani Mahama ni office say onyi ni fio ni office no enya ketu akodofo when near breaking news abeto dwa misbeji ni na bro e wo Ghanatube fo message also beji mechi nya kwakwaje sansem wo nyina nchim e wo Ghanatube no message.
Earlier, I was asking that this is the time for Ghanaians to be now satisfied and rejoice. At least we're heading towards the courts.
No, not at all. We have to be very careful. I cannot trust these charges that have been filed because, you see, the moment Kisi Ejabeng sat and allowed the Furiata to flee this country, that was the moment that he should have quit that office. So, he himself confirmed it in the interview with KSM that he intercepted a letter Furiata wrote that he's about to leave Ghana. And Kisi Ejabeng went to NID, didn't get help. National Security didn't get help. But in any event, I've talked to some of the former heads of NID. They say they never saw any letter from Kisi Ejabeng. So that in itself, and I have stated that I'm preparing a petition for Kisi Ejabeng's removal. That's one of the questions Kisi Ejabeng will have to answer. I have a witness who would have seen that letter, and he's saying that he never saw anything from Kisi Ejabeng. He even says he doesn't know Kisi Ejabeng.
Earlier, I was asking that this is the time for Ghanaians to be now satisfied and rejoice. At least we're heading towards the courts.
No, not at all. We have to be very careful. I cannot trust these charges that have been filed because, you see, the moment Kisi Ejabeng sat and allowed the Furiata to flee this country, that was the moment that he should have quit that office. So, he himself confirmed it in the interview with KSM that he intercepted a letter Furiata wrote that he's about to leave Ghana. And Kisi Ejabeng went to NID, didn't get help. National Security didn't get help. But in any event, I've talked to some of the former heads of NID. They say they never saw any letter from Kisi Ejabeng. So that in itself, and I have stated that I'm preparing a petition for Kisi Ejabeng's removal. That's one of the questions Kisi Ejabeng will have to answer. I have a witness who would have seen that letter, and he's saying that he never saw anything from Kisi Ejabeng. He even says he doesn't know Kisi Ejabeng.
Hey, Orofo, she said, Arawosem Kessia Pan, Nato, Young Cassia special prosecutor, Kisi Ejabeng, Tisi Amena Okasano, Jesse Nasu Ayeshi, Shorofo. Hey, yes, senior Ocean and Yamane dear. And some fatakra position no on to me handle position no because senya nyama si ekekakọ adenti a utumi ya ahwehan na wohwe ma kenufuriata etumi fi Ghana ha se because o se na woni tumi sesen eninti a yede sa position ama o tumi se oba abonti ebeka che Ghana fo se sei ni na ekoso office why ye de obetumi bia no enso still baby anyama si ejina no ohwa na ejina at least oba abontin na obi update Ghana fo be hu se bo ho modern but ebia sei ni ene sisi wakwan but ne nyina no kisi eja ben wa edin wanka ho asemo da afi yese aban foforo o si or see hey na nya fort that time no na kufa do na power no want to be nya hwemfa ho odofo yes enmenim ya no kisi ejabe on quit infini position odofo humenko na yentu asansem no sombra isi Ghanatube so
toward corruption. They need to take advantage of that provision and defend themselves. If the process becomes fair, right, and judgment comes out, then we live with it. If not, then the losing party can also challenge it. It's part of the rule of law, where you are at liberty to defend your rights using the legal processes. So for me, what is going on, it's strengthening the foundation of our democracy, that whatever happens, people want to resort to the use of the rules of the game, in other words, the law of the land, so as to defend themselves. For me, it is part and parcel of the democratic agenda. But if I can stretch it a little bit to what you said about whether our political class or this country is ready to fight corruption, I'm afraid we are not, as Dr. rightly said. Because if you look at the things that we have put in place to fight corruption, more often than not, they are just public gimmick for public gimmick. Right? Let's take, for instance, asset declaration law. It is a mockery of democratic processes and procedures, that you have assets and you declare and you put it in an envelope, nobody opens it until one day. What kind of, rule is that? The political class developed this thing for us, and we have sat down over the years doing nothing, and we want to believe that we are fighting corruption. No. Issue of regulatory capacity, where the state has made a lot of laws, how we can curb corruption or nip it in the bud. Have we got the political will to fight it? More often than not, we let them go off the wing, and then here you are, we come back to square one. Issue of, you remember Justice Appel, a committee, and their findings of create, loot and share. The political class deliberately create some of these avenues in order to milk the state dry, and they get away with this. So at the end of the day, you realize that, look, the state is not in to fight that, because look at contracts that they sign and deliberately break the contract so that the state will incur losses. And then at the end of the day, we come back to say that we want to fight corruption. For me, it's just rhetoric, nothing more, nothing less. But more importantly, I'll blame the political class. You are in this country that political class would draft agreement on something, and then the state benefits something small, and the other party are taking everything. And you ask yourself, this is a country that we are serious in fighting corruption and developing a scheme that will help us to build capacity, financial capacity to run our own affairs. For me, I know that we are not ready. If we are ready, we know what to do. Why do you want people to fund You don't want people to fund political parties, but you are not interested in looking at political party financing. In the other jurisdiction, like America, if you fund a political party as an individual, there's a certain threshold you cannot go beyond. Once you cross that line, you are going to jail. And when you fund those individuals, your name and all your particulars are published for public to know, so that when in event that you win political power and you award contract, they know that this is the connection. If you are funding a group, there's an amount that you have to you cannot go beyond. Why are those laws missing in this country? And yet we want to deceive ourselves into believing that we want to fight corruption. Please, let's stop it. We can't fight corruption. We are not ready.
So that's
out of 4 when a breaking news about to judge say if office of the special prosecutor say ni yanu on fan juman to honum the moment oya hwehan no mark no fuyata fi Ghana ase kwama no ne no sa time na na koso nko the position eto ho as a special prosecutor because se uye ejuma na se eye certain things be block wa na se truly pese uye ejuma yi a entampa no ka se no se na mo be dia na me ejuma ye den to ho no na kire se why crowd so pese uye ejuma no but bibi adisi wa kwan enti no se ni besu akwan dia ene betumi de ejuma na to ho no and waka say unye biom because my already say me ye mejuma but samuti say dia na mean I can't compromise enti no si an me mejuma ye den to ho but wanya sa oya hwehan no ma kenufu yata etu kwan ko eye amanone na se kenufu yata kodu amanone na se aban ati sande a wetumi nya no aba bonche be ka che Ghana for say na sa time na na say na we block me da be say onya competent onya credible yentumi mfa yegidie enche omu senya wo ye kenufu yata no sa pepenso na be obufo be consider obufo dofo ti we na breaking news abeto jam so be dini na bro e wo Ghana to fo ma mfi semba like na subscribe na ma share my notification button so ma se ne be a bring ya bibia do pe content say ya wo nya ntempa no ahwe we temodofo aha na be nsem nyina be si e wo Ghana to so makra mu nyina beda mu nyina se bebre